In a striking turn of events, the U.S. stock market faced its most significant decline of 2025, raising alarm bells among investors and policymakers alike. On Monday, March 10, the S&P 500 index plunged 2.7%, a reaction to President Trump's recent comments about a potential recession stemming from his aggressive trade policies. This sell-off marks a grim milestone, with the index now hovering nearly 9% below its recent peak, edging closer to what Wall Street defines as a correction. The catalyst for this market turmoil can be traced to a Fox News interview wherein President Trump expressed an unsettling ambiguity regarding the economy's trajectory, stating, "I hate to predict things like that," when asked about the possibility of a recession. His remarks have ignited fears of economic instability, particularly as he has fluctuated between imposing and suspending tariffs on major trading partners including Canada, Mexico, and China. Investors are grappling with the uncertainty these policies introduce, as noted by David Bahnsen, chief investment officer at the Bahnsen Group, who remarked that the market volatility is much less about the bad news of tariffs and much more about the uncertainty of tariffs. Compounding the economic unease, retaliatory tariffs from China on American agricultural products went into effect on the same day, while the Trump administration is preparing to impose a 25% tariff on U.S. steel and aluminum imports. The administration's inconsistent tariff strategies have left businesses reeling, struggling to navigate a landscape riddled with unpredictability. As the stock market continued its downward spiral, Secretary of State Marco Rubio weighed in on international matters, suggesting that Ukraine might need to concede some territory to Russia to reach a peace agreement. His comments come amidst a backdrop of heightened tensions following a contentious meeting between President Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, where Trump appeared to pressure Zelensky into making concessions. This diplomatic maneuvering reflects the administration's broader strategy to realign U.S. foreign policy, which has caused unease among allies. In a more peculiar development, Elon Musk, a prominent figure in the Trump administration, finds himself embroiled in legal scrutiny. A federal judge ruled that Musk's Department of Government Efficiency is subject to public disclosure laws requiring the release of internal emails and documents that could shed light on the controversial agency's operations. This ruling could potentially enhance governmental transparency and accountability, a notion Musk's team has resisted. In the midst of these unfolding events, the Trump administration has also faced judicial pushback regarding its handling of foreign aid. A federal court ordered the administration to release funds that had been unlawfully withheld from the U.S. Agency for International Development (USAID), emphasizing a legal precedent that asserts Congress's authority over appropriated funds. Despite the ruling, the administration's ongoing attempts to cut foreign aid contracts and personnel have drawn criticism and concern over the potential humanitarian impact. As the fallout from these developments continues, the economic landscape remains precarious. The stock market's downturn has prompted investors to seek refuge in bonds, further driving down Treasury yields. Meanwhile, economists have raised the probability of a recession in the coming year, citing Trump's trade policies as a significant contributing factor. Analysts at JPMorgan Chase have placed the likelihood of a global recession at 40% due to the ripple effects of potential U.S. economic slowdowns. Looking ahead, the upcoming inflation report will be closely scrutinized, especially as consumer sentiment is already grappling with rising prices on essential goods. The juxtaposition of the stock market's struggles against a backdrop of otherwise solid employment data highlights a complex economic situation, one that could compel the Federal Reserve to reconsider its interest rate strategy. In conclusion, the interplay between President Trump's economic policies, international diplomacy, and the legal framework surrounding government agencies poses a multifaceted challenge. The ramifications of these developments will undoubtedly shape the U.S. economic landscape in the months to come. As stakeholders from Wall Street to Washington navigate the uncertainties ahead, tensions between Russia and the United States remain palpable as recent developments indicate a hardening of Moscow's negotiating stance concerning the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. A document prepared for the Kremlin has surfaced, revealing a decidedly uncompromising position that could significantly alter the landscape of international diplomacy.
According to sources, this hardline approach is not merely a reaction to current events but reflects a broader strategy aimed at reinforcing Russia's influence on the global stage. The document outlines that the Kremlin is dismissing a U.S. proposed ceasefire plan which was presented as a potential stepping stone towards peace talks. A Kremlin aide explicitly stated, "We do not consider this proposal acceptable," signaling a clear intention to reject diplomatic overtures from Washington. This rejection raises questions about the feasibility of any future negotiations and underscores the escalating rhetoric that has characterized the relationship between the two nations since the invasion of Ukraine. Analysts believe that this hardened posture could be attributed to a combination of domestic pressures and international strategies. Within Russia, President Vladimir Putin faces increasing scrutiny from hardliners who advocate for a more aggressive military stance. The regime appears to be leveraging the conflict to consolidate power internally, suggesting that any perceived concession to the West could be politically damaging. On the global front, the Kremlin seeks to project strength and resilience, particularly as it grapples with economic sanctions and military challenges. The implications of this development are profound. A continuation of such a rigid negotiating stance could prolong the conflict in Ukraine, leading to further destabilization in the region. Experts warn that this situation could exacerbate humanitarian crises and complicate relationships with European allies, many of whom have been vocal in their support for Ukraine. The potential for increased military engagement also looms large, as both sides may feel compelled to escalate their operations in response to the other's actions. As the situation evolves, the international community remains watchful. The rejection of the ceasefire proposal signifies not just a stalemate in negotiations but also highlights the broader geopolitical tensions that could reshape alliances and power dynamics. With no clear path to resolution on the horizon, the focus now turns to how both Moscow and Washington will navigate this increasingly fraught landscape. Looking ahead, the next steps taken by both nations will be critical. Should the Kremlin maintain its current course, the likelihood of prolonged conflict increases, and with it, the need for innovative diplomatic strategies from the U.S. and its allies. The coming weeks and months will be telling as the international community searches for avenues to engage in constructive dialogue amidst a backdrop of escalating confrontation. In a surprising turn of events, the Trump family has initiated discussions with Binance, the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, shortly after the company's guilty plea on serious charges. This unexpected move has generated significant buzz in both political and financial circles, raising questions about the implications of such a partnership in the volatile cryptocurrency landscape. According to a report by the Wall Street Journal, the Trump family's interest in collaborating with Binance comes at a time when the exchange is grappling with legal challenges and regulatory scrutiny. Binance recently admitted to breaking U.S. laws regarding money laundering and has agreed to pay a hefty fine as part of its plea deal. This is a pivotal moment for Binance, and having influential partners could help restore its image and credibility in the market, noted a financial analyst who wished to remain anonymous. The talks between the Trump family and Binance seem to be driven by a mutual interest in expanding the reach of cryptocurrency. Former President Donald Trump has previously expressed skepticism about digital currencies, yet this new venture suggests a significant shift in perspective. The Trump family may view this as an opportunity to tap into the burgeoning crypto market, which continues to attract a diverse investor base. In parallel, the financial landscape is experiencing a wave of anxiety among consumers across all income levels, as highlighted in another report by the Wall Street Journal. This consumer angst is largely attributed to rising inflation rates and uncertainties in the job market, leading many to tighten their budgets and rethink their spending habits. Amidst this backdrop, the allure of cryptocurrencies as an alternative investment is becoming increasingly attractive to those seeking to diversify their portfolios. Moreover, the Biden administration has been making significant adjustments within its health sector policies, including the recent decision to withdraw a nominee for the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention (CDC) amid growing concerns over public health management.
This withdrawal reflects ongoing tensions within the government, as it grapples with the complexities of health governance during a period marked by both the COVID-19 pandemic's aftermath and emerging health threats. As the Trump family moves closer to potentially partnering with Binance, the implications of such a relationship could reverberate across the crypto market as well as the broader financial landscape. With regulatory pressures mounting on cryptocurrency exchanges, this collaboration could signal a new chapter for Binance as well as an intriguing intersection between politics and digital finance. Looking ahead, the developments surrounding the Trump family's discussions with Binance will undoubtedly be closely monitored by regulators and investors alike. The outcome of these negotiations could either bolster Binance's standing in the market or further complicate its already tumultuous relationship with U.S. authorities. As consumer concerns rise and the cryptocurrency market evolves, all eyes will be on how these dynamics unfold in the coming months. In a bold move that could significantly escalate tensions in Eastern Europe, Polish President Andrzej Duda has publicly urged the United States to relocate nuclear warheads to Poland. This call for a nuclear presence on Polish soil is framed as a necessary deterrent against potential Russian aggression, particularly in light of Russia's recent military maneuvers in the region. Duda's remarks made during an interview with the Financial Times signal a shift in Poland's defense strategy and reflect a growing anxiety among Eastern European nations regarding the security landscape. Duda's proposal is grounded in historical context, referencing NATO's eastward expansion in 1999. He stated the borders of NATO moved east in 1999, so 26 years later there should also be a shift of the NATO infrastructure east. For me, this is obvious. This assertion not only emphasizes Poland's desire for enhanced security but also reflects a broader sentiment among Eastern European countries that feel vulnerable to Russian military strategies. The Polish president's request follows a previous unsuccessful attempt to establish a nuclear sharing arrangement with the Biden administration in 2022. Historically, Poland has hosted Soviet nuclear weapons during the Cold War, making the prospect of U.S. nuclear warheads once again stationed near Russian borders particularly provocative. Duda noted, "I think it's not only that the time has come but that it would be safer if those weapons were already here." This statement underscores a pressing concern that Russia's military capabilities could be bolstered through peace negotiations with Ukraine. Duda's call for U.S. nuclear weapons comes against the backdrop of President Vladimir Putin's announcement in 2023 to move tactical nuclear weapons to Belarus, a move that raised alarms in Warsaw and beyond. Russia did not even hesitate when they were relocating their nuclear weapons into Belarus, Duda remarked, drawing a stark contrast between the openness of Russia's military actions and the hesitance of NATO to bolster its presence in Eastern Europe. The implications of Duda's request extend beyond military strategy. It highlights a fractious political landscape in Poland where Duda, aligned with the opposition Law and Justice Party, finds himself in conflict with Prime Minister Donald Tusk's coalition. Furthermore, Duda has expressed skepticism about the potential for Poland to develop its own nuclear arsenal, stating, "In order to have our own nuclear capability, I think it would take decades." This admission suggests a reliance on U.S. military support as a cornerstone of Poland's defense strategy. Moreover, Duda's comments reflect a broader geopolitical narrative concerning U.S.-Russia relations. He maintained that he does not view Trump's interactions with Russia as overtly pro-Moscow, asserting that there are instruments against Russia being employed, albeit subtly. This perspective provides insight into Poland's position as a pivotal ally for the U.S. in Europe, particularly as discussions around military presence and nuclear strategy evolve. As Poland grapples with its defense posture amid shifting dynamics, the nation is not alone in its concerns. Other Eastern European countries share similar anxieties, particularly regarding a potential Russian resurgence following any peace negotiations with Ukraine. In this climate of uncertainty, Duda's call for U.S. nuclear weapons could serve as a catalyst for renewed discussions on NATO's strategic positioning in Eastern Europe. Looking ahead, the response from Washington and NATO allies will be critical in shaping Poland's security framework.
As tensions continue to simmer, any movement towards a U.S. nuclear presence in Poland could alter the regional balance of power and provoke a strong reaction from Moscow. The coming months will be pivotal as the international community navigates the complexities of military strategy diplomacy and the ever-present specter of nuclear proliferation. In an era where video games are often synonymous with high-octane action and competitive play, the emergence of Wanderstop serves as a refreshing antidote. Developed by Davey Redden, known for his innovative work on the Stanley Parable and The Beginner's Guide, this cozy game invites players to step into the shoes of Alta, a fallen warrior who trades her sword for the soothing rhythms of tea-making and garden tending. With its serene gameplay and thought-provoking narrative, Wanderstop offers not just a game but a chance for players to decompress from the pressures of modern life. At its core, Wanderstop is a meditation on the perils of burnout, cleverly woven into its design. As players guide Alta through a tranquil tea shop run by a gentle character named Burrow, they engage in activities that include making tea, watering plants, and interacting with whimsical garden creatures. Unlike many games that reward players with tangible progress and achievements, Wanderstop takes a different approach. It offers no traditional win conditions or satisfaction from a grind. Instead, it immerses players in a soothing environment that encourages them to slow down and savor the experience. As one reviewer noted, the game refuses to give you the satisfaction of the grind, creating a sense of lewd narrative harmony that resonates deeply with those familiar with the tolls of relentless productivity. The technical execution of Wanderstop is equally commendable. The controls are intuitive, the visuals are vibrant and inviting, and the soundtrack is unobtrusive yet pleasant. Strong voice acting adds another layer of depth to the game, enhancing the emotional engagement as players navigate through Alta's journey of recovery and self-discovery. In a world where gaming often prioritizes competition and speed, the deliberate pacing of Wanderstop serves as a gentle reminder of the value of rest and reflection. Despite its cozy exterior, the game challenges players to confront their own relationship with productivity and stress. As Alta recoils from her past life of conflict, players are prompted to consider what it means to truly pause and heal. The game takes roughly 12 hours to complete, but many find themselves returning to its calming gardens, eager to explore further and engage with its characters. This desire to linger speaks to the profound impact the game has on its audience, fostering a sense of connection that transcends traditional gaming experiences. As the gaming industry continues to evolve, Wanderstop stands out as a significant contribution to the genre of cozy games. It redefines what a game can be, challenging preconceived notions about gameplay and narrative. With its emphasis on healing and introspection, it invites players to not just engage with a story but to reflect on their own lives in a world that often glorifies busyness. In conclusion, Wanderstop is not merely a game, it is a sanctuary for those seeking respite from the chaos of daily life. As more players discover its charms, the conversation around the importance of mental wellness in gaming is likely to grow. In a landscape filled with competition and high stakes, Wanderstop emerges as a beacon of calm, reminding us that sometimes the most rewarding journey is the one inward. As the gaming community continues to embrace diverse experiences, one can only hope that more titles like Wanderstop will emerge, inviting players to take a break from the pressure to win and simply enjoy the moment. In a significant push for enhanced safety measures within the private security sector, Sandy Schultz, the mother of Joshua Conant, has proposed a new ordinance in Port Huron, Michigan, aimed at preventing tragedies similar to the one that claimed her son's life. This initiative comes 6 months after the Michigan Department of Attorney General opted not to pursue charges related to Conant's death, which occurred during an altercation with bouncers outside the Roche Bar on November 4, 2023. The proposed legislation, referred to as the Joshua Law, seeks to mandate training for private security personnel regarding the risks associated with positional asphyxiation, a condition that can occur when an individual's position restricts airflow, often exacerbated during physical restraint. According to witnesses, Conant was restrained by multiple bouncers, leading to a tragic outcome that has left a profound impact on the community and raised questions about current training practices for security staff.
During a city council meeting, Schultz passionately advocated for the ordinance, stating, "I know that you can't develop a law, but you can create an ordinance.
And that's what I'm asking for today."
Her call to action is not just a personal crusade but a broader appeal for systemic change in how private security is regulated. The proposed requirements would not only include training on positional asphyxiation but also encompass CPR de-escalation techniques and crowd control strategies, with recertification every 2 years.
The council's response to Schultz's proposal has been encouraging.
City Manager James Freed expressed commitment to drafting both a local ordinance and a state law, reflecting a collective desire to prevent similar incidents in the future.
"I also further ask you to draft bill text for a state law that I can take to the state legislature so this never happens again in our state," Freed remarked,
eliciting applause from community members present. The tragic circumstances surrounding Joshua Conant's death have ignited discussions about the accountability of private security services and the need for comprehensive training to ensure the safety of patrons in entertainment venues. Schultz's efforts not only aim to honor her son's memory but also highlight a critical gap in training that could potentially save lives. As this initiative gains momentum, it poses important questions about the broader implications for private security in Michigan and beyond.
Should similar regulations be adopted nationwide?
How can communities ensure that security personnel are equipped with the necessary knowledge and skills to handle potentially volatile situations safely? The outcome of Schultz's proposal could serve as a pivotal moment in redefining standards within the private security industry, potentially leading to significant legislative changes aimed at enhancing public safety.
Looking ahead.
As the City Council deliberates on the proposed ordinance, the response from the community and policymakers will be crucial in shaping the future of private security training. The conversation sparked by this tragic event could pave the way for a new era of accountability and safety, ensuring that incidents of positional asphyxiation and other preventable tragedies become a rarity rather than a norm.